Right on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. So I feel I want to weigh in on what appears to be a little bit of a problem in one of the biggest cities in Canada. Biggest communities, as they like to call it. The centre of the universe, basically, as far as they see it. That is Toronto. Now this concerns house prices. Now that may not affect a lot of you across the country because you're already suffering, but in my predictions in March of this year, I said there would be some discomfort, and it appears I was right. Here are just some headlines recently. Most of you who live out there already know what's going on, and you shouldn't be surprised. But for those of you who don't, and don't live in the centre of the universe, Toronto, or the province that is experiencing massive growth, unquote, there's some quotes from local newspapers. The Globe and Mail. There's nothing positive about Toronto's home prices plunging as buyers retreat. From the Star. Average Toronto home prices drop $173,000 since April. The number of sales in July also fell 40.4% compared with July last year. The Huffington Post. Toronto house prices already have fallen 12% from their peak. They go on to say it could be a buyer's market very soon. CTV News. Fall in Toronto home prices, a big surprise, say brokers. They say the fall in the average peak price in the GTA in June is an even more startling indication of a cooling market than the 37.3% drop in the month's home sales over last year's, says Toronto real estate broker. And finally, I found this from TorontoRealtorblog.com, and it came out in March 2015. I just want you to listen to this. They said then that there was no bubble, that prices in Toronto will continue to rise due to the demand. They put all sort of statistics justifying why prices would continue to rise. And you can see that on their website. That reminds me of someone I saw on TV a little while ago who was on BNN, that's Business News Network, which is part of the Bell monopoly in Canada. And they were talking about house prices in the GTA. This realtor was really annoying me, but I will try and paraphrase what I consider to be an arrogant, ignorant, and downright selfish individual. This is what the guy said in essence. I don't care about anything outside the GTA. The GTA is all that matters to me. The house prices are strong. We look to have our best year in some time. That was probably 2 months ago. Well, to me, that gentleman says it all. And I did just say it all about that gentleman. No, the fact is, and the facts are, that economics apply even in the centre of the universe. And GTA stands for Greater Toronto Area, in case you didn't know. Of course you should know. The ever-increasing cost of living in Canada has finally, not to toot my own horn, but has finally started to catch up even with Toronto. Toronto is starting to feel the economic reality of the decision it chose to make, electing a Liberal communist government to run its province. And now they have added more fuel to the economic fire by contributing majorly to the election of a Liberal communist federal government with all the baggage that brings. But most of all, the massive out-of-control spending, which starts the inevitable decline of the Canadian dollar and therefore the domestic buying power that we have. None of this is any comfort to any of you who live in the Western provinces, already wheeling over their dictatorships. Now, I'm sorry to say that the economic situation in Canada as a whole has to get far worse before it gets better. And I will say this to the folks out there. You had better pray that Canada does not get a deal on NAFTA, because no, it won't be good for us, because it will end up propping up the failures that are in power all over this country. No, it has to get far worse, and it will, before it gets better for us all. And when it does, you'd better darn well make sure that people never forget who took us to this dark place, and never again elect one of these lowlifes to even a dog catcher, ever again. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you will find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, Gab, and email. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments on Spreaker.com under A Radio. That's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. You can find all my podcasts and all my morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com. Click on the Morning Moments tab.